Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of TWD Reviews, and today I'm back for another Walking Dead video for today. This one's going to be doing another top 10 list for The Walking Dead. This one's highly demanded from you guys. This one is going to be, what are the saddest deaths of The Walking Dead series? Just going to be doing the video for today. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today. This one's going to be doing what are the top 10 saddest deaths of the Walking Dead series. So I thought about this one a lot. This one took me a little while to make, but I really wanted to make sure that this list was really deserving for the characters that are on this list. Now, I'm going to obviously say, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but there are some deaths that, unfortunately are just not going to make the list because The Walking Dead has had so much death throughout the years, throughout the 10 years of The Walking Dead. However, I've narrowed it down to 10 characters I personally feel like are worthy of being on the saddest deaths list. Now, I'll be honest, there's a few of these characters, I don't really like the characters, but the deaths are amazing. And I'm sure some of you guys, that gives you a bit of a hint on a few of the characters that are on this list. Because there's some characters that I don't like at all, but are in this list because their deaths are so impactful. So, so there's a little hint. So, anyway, first of all, we'll go over some honorable mentions. So, we got a couple here. So, first off, Tyrese. I wasn't the biggest fan of his death, but it was still a sad episode in the way they did it. So, it is still going to make for an honorable mention, I would have to say personally. Next up is Sophia. I think Sophia actually really had a crazy death when you think about it. Innocent little girl, and then you see her come out of the barn like that. Man, it's really emotional, and the way they do it was, in my personal opinion, it was absolutely crazy to see. Just the way they did that with Rick shooting her and stuff, absolutely crazy. And then the last one for it is going to be Sasha. So Sasha's death, definitely very emotional. I'm not the biggest fan of how it was done, though. That's the main problem I have with it. But saying goodbye to that character was still very sad, nevertheless. So number 10. So let's get into number 10. So number 10 is going to be Abraham. Now, his death is heroic. It's heroic. It's sad. It's in a weird way funny from his last lines, but it is very, very sad and very kind of just messed up the way this dude goes out. But he dies a hero. That's the thing. He does die a hero, I would say personally. But but I would have to say his death. It's really sad when you think about it because it does get overshadowed, I would say personally, with the Glenn one. So, because I feel like a lot of people don't focus on his death as much because we had a bigger death with Glenn later on. So, it's really unfortunate that we did lose Abraham's character, and I personally really liked his character, and I'm going to put him at number 10. I think it's definitely deserving to have Abraham on this list, absolutely. Coming to number 9 is going to be Dale's death. So, this death was definitely crazy. I remember when I saw this, I was just like, oh man, like when they have to put him down and stuff, the way it was done, there's definitely some issues with this scene, but I definitely think that the way it's done it's still sad. The music they play here is incredibly sad, and the Sorry Brother moment is, for me personally, very, very iconic for the show. Coming to number 8 is going to be the Pikes. So this is a mix of character deaths, I do know that, but I'm not really going to separate these deaths into specific deaths, and the main reason for this being is because the characters that die, I don't feel like any of these characters individually really kind of would have a place on this list because they all feel so together, But the Pikes as number 8 is still going to be a big moment because it's big. You've got Enid, you've got, Tara, and you've got Henry in particular. And Henry, Carol's reaction is what really sold it for me when Daryl kind of like runs over to her and stuff. Just like he did with Sophia back in season 2 when he saw her as a zombie. Man, same thing. The way they did that callback was incredible. And just, the just look at me part and stuff like this. It's crazy. And also, the music in this moment, I think, is perfect. I feel like that's another thing that goes unnoticed. The music they use for these Pikes, absolutely incredible, I would have to say, to be honest. So, number 8 is going to be the Pikes. Number 7 is going to be Shane. So, this one is going to be controversial. I know this one's going to be very controversial, but his death, I would still say, the way it's done, Rick having to kill his best friend because, before he kills him and, whatever. And the moment that you see Shane and he kind of just looks at Rick's gun and they almost make you think he's going to switch sides, which is something we discussed in Brian's stream the other night. But, it looked like Shane may have been questioning things a little bit. And then, but then Rick stabs him, So it just adds that extra layer of emotion because it makes you think, wait, was Shane actually about to stop for a second? And then you see the death, you see the stabbing, and, it was you, not me. And the way he dies, man, it hit hard. It did. It really got me in the feels, to be honest, because I love Shane's character. I think John Bernthal's Shane is a fantastic character for those first 2 seasons, and seeing him die, it's like that first chapter of The Walking Dead is done, and the way his death went was just, it was incredibly sad when it happened, I gotta say. Number 6 is going to be Merle. So, I know a lot of people say, yeah, he was a bad guy, he was on the governor's side, this and that, but I would say he went out dying as a hero. He had one of the most heroic deaths a Walking Dead character has had, in my personal opinion. He went out guns and blazing. He, killed a bunch of, 8 of the governor's men, I think he said, and fought the governor and all this kind of stuff. And I like how they do the callback, because when Merle was on the roof back in episode 3 of season 1, he even said, I'm not going to beg. I'm never going to beg you. Don't worry about me begging you. And then he says it again in this episode. I ain't going to beg. I ain't begging you. And the governor says, no, and he shoots him. But not only that, it's the emotional part when Daryl finds him as a walker. What a crazy moment. I know so many people make the joke of Daryl's crying face. I still see that all over the place. But regardless, this death is incredible. And honestly, Michael Rooker, I still miss this dude on the show. I really do, honestly. I still miss this guy on the show to this day. Number 5 is going to be, now this one's going to be tough for me to say. Number 5 is going to be Beth. So, I can see the comments now, but I'm just, okay, give me a chance to explain myself. Now, I know Beth has a huge fan base, okay? I do not like Beth. I never did, never will. It's just the way it is. I never liked Beth as a character. But I will admit, as much as I don't like her character, as much as I don't like, some of the decisions the character made, her death was freaking sad. It was freaking, it was crazy. The way they did it, the gunshot, Daryl shoots Dawn, and then you just got this music, you got Rick with his gun, he's pointing his gun, and he's like, no, that type of thing, and Daryl too, man, this guy just breaks down, carries her out, and Maggie's reaction on top of that, man. Maggie has some of the most emotional death reactions I've ever seen, and Maggie, in particular in this scene, my goodness, man, honestly, what a crazy moment. So, number 4 is going to be Carl's death. Now, this one dragged out a bit. It definitely did. But even though that is true, his death is still crazy. Carl's death is still crazy sad. You've got the goodbye to Judith, the giving the hat. Daryl even says, these people, you saved them all, that type of thing. Even Daryl has some final words with Carl. And so does Sadiq, of course. He's going to honor him by, doing what he can. And then, of course, which, Dante kind of stops that one. But, but anyway, so there's that. And then, of course, we got, the bringing him into the church. We can make it to the church, and then the moment of kind of, talking about season 3 and how easy it was to just kill people. But now, maybe there's an alternative motive type of thing. Carl kind of wants things to be like in the kind of dream sequence that he kind of envisions and stuff like that. So I thought this death was crazy. I really did. I don't like the death. I think it's the one character that they should have kept in the show. But the way they did the death, it's dragged out, but it got me emotional. It did. So I gotta give credit. I gotta give credit where credit is due, And this one I absolutely do think deserves the credit. I absolutely think so. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Herschel's death. So, something about this moment, guys, I just don't know what it is. Every time I watch this, I'm just like, I'm still just jaw drops to the floor. It's an emotional moment, and as Negan would say, I get it. I don't know why I just thought of that, but anyway. So basically, Herschel's death is crazy to me. And for a few reasons, Herschel's death, not only is the actor not with us anymore in real life, that's the thing that really kills me. And then not only that, the way the death happens, the speech from Rick, as the music builds up, it just solidifies the governor as being a crazy dude for doing this, honestly. And not only that, but also Maggie and Beth screaming. Man, something about that. Because you don't even really hear much of it. You just have this, like, soundtrack that they use over it that is just, like, it almost makes it sadder somehow. And it just ensues with the gunfight afterwards. Like, oh, man, it's a crazy moment. I still am just kind of, like, in shock about it. Because the way it's done is one of the craziest deaths Walking Dead has ever done. It's quick, it's sad, but man, it's impactful, to be honest. So, number 2 is going to be, now this one's also going to be hard to mention. Number 2 is going to be Lori. So, once again, like I just said about Beth, I don't like Lori, but the death is sad, and of course I'm going to admit that. Lori's death, it's freaking sad. It is. It's absolutely crazy because you know that she's gonna die. They pretty much tell you this about halfway through the episode. Yeah, like, she's not gonna make it, she has to be cut open. There has to be a C-section done. Maggie's is gonna have to do it, and then Carl puts her down. Not only the goodbye scene between her, Maggie, and then also specifically Carl, but also when you hear the gunshot, and then the reaction from Rick is what gets me. Now, Rick's reaction to this is, for me personally, the best acted scene Andrew Lincoln ever did. If you ask me personally. Or at least one of, if not the best acting scene Andrew Lincoln's ever done. The way he reacts to this it's so sad. And honestly, it's just silence, for a minute after that. It's just silence. You have the after credits of this episode. It's just quiet. You don't have any music. You don't have anything. It's just, man, it was really sad. And honestly, guys, if anybody wants to put Lori's death as number 1, I completely understand. But the number 1 biggest death, the saddest death for me personally, the death that had the biggest impact on the fans, that had the biggest impact, I feel like, on all of us this night when we were all watching it, shaking watching the TV, because I know I was. Glenn's death. So, what is there to say about this death? What is there to say? He is one of the best characters in The Walking Dead. Not only that, his death was hard to watch. It was absolutely hard to watch, and I know a lot of people quit the show because of it. I was never at that point, but that's because, I wanted to see how the story would continue. But I will just say one thing. Glenn's death, that deleted scene they had of him at the table and stuff, that's what really did it for me. And not only that, they even have like an extended version of that deleted scene. I'll never understand why they didn't include that full thing. I'll never understand that. If you have the Blu-ray for Season 7, you'll know what I mean. There's like an extended version of that, kind of dream sequence with Glenn and his kid. And it applies to nowadays so much, too, because we're about to see Glenn's kid around that age in Season 10C, which is also crazy. But I just think that this is, it's such a big moment for the show. It kills the moral compass of the group. It kills one of the best characters. And not only that, what it does, the reaction out of Maggie, once again, just like Beth's death, I'm going to say it again for this one. Maggie's reaction is what's crazy about this moment. It's just insane. And honestly, I think this episode, honestly, as much as I know a lot of people don't like this death, it is the most well-done death The Walking Dead has done for me. It is the saddest death The Walking Dead has done for me personally. However, I will say Lori's death is not too far behind it. I will definitely say that. So, anyway, guys, that is my list. What are your opinions on all of this stuff? What do you think is the saddest death in The Walking Dead? I will definitely understand if some people pick Lori. I absolutely would. But for me personally, from day one of the show, seeing Glenn's death in that episode, it takes the cake for me personally. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Write your comments in the comment section below. If you guys are new here, click the subscribe button to understand my Walking Dead videos. Follow Dan's Walking Dead Reviews, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another Walking Dead video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.